What's going on, Squirrel Squad? It is November the 11th, and today is Remembrance Day in the UK and Veterans Day here in the United States of America. Why November 11th for both days? Well, it's simple. The 11th of November is the day that the fighting finally stopped um, in World War One, and it's a day that we take to remember all of our service people, and especially those who have fallen in World War One, World War Two, and any other conflict or war we may have had. I'd like to take this time today to look into a tradition that I know goes on over in the UK, and that is the poppy. A good friend of the channel had sent over some information to me, and so I don't know that we do the poppy over here. I've never heard of it, so I don't think we do, and if we do, it's something that's not very widely known or widely produced and done. We take billions of American flags, little mini ones, and put them all over the place. The whole country's covered in them, gravestones and sides of roads and flag and light poles, and they're everywhere. And we just absorb more than a normal day the love that our soldiers had for our country, and we're a very proud country on a day-to-day basis as it is, as I'm sure most countries are of their own country. So let's check out the poppy. I'd like to see what this is about. This says the poppy story first level on up. I don't know what that means, but well, maybe we'll find out.
The Poppy Story. The First World War, or the Great War, started in 1914. The British Empire and their allies, France, Russia, Italy, and America, fought a war against Germany, Austria-Hungary, and the Ottoman Empire. Millions of men joined the British armed forces and went to fight in the war. The conditions were terrible, and millions were killed or injured. Those that did return home would never be the same again. One of the largest battles of the war took place around the town of Ypres in the Flanders region of Belgium. While serving in Flanders, a young Canadian soldier called John McCrae noticed how bright red poppies grew wild amid the war-torn landscape. Despite the devastation that surrounded him, he was inspired by the poppies that grew there to write the poem In Flanders Fields. His poem became very popular, and the bright red poppy would soon be adopted as a symbol to remember all those who'd fought in the war. The First World War ended at 11 o'clock in the morning on the 11th of November, 1918. This was the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. The war had lasted over 4 years. The 11th of November every year is called Remembrance Day or Armistice Day. After the war ended, people started making paper poppies to sell. They sold poppies to raise money to help the millions of sailors, soldiers and airmen who were coming home from the war. These people are called ex-servicemen and women, or veterans. On Remembrance Day, people wear a poppy, and at 11 o'clock in the morning, the same time the war officially ended in 1918, there was a 2-minute silence. This is for people to remember all the veterans who have served their country in a war, not just the First World War. Remembrance Day happens every year around the world. The poppy isn't the same everywhere. Some countries use different designs for their poppy.
So I guess we do have a poppy. I honestly, it's not something that's like. I mean, I know Flanders Field. We on Memorial Day every year we have a parade in town, my little town here, and they have a local thing at the elementary school in town where they have this contest for kids to memorize two different pieces, written pieces. One of them is Flanders Field, in Flanders Fields, and the other one is the Gettysburg Address. And the kids who do it get like a $50 savings bond, and they march down to the cemetery. At the cemetery, they fire off the guns, and there's usually a speech by the selectmen of town and things like that. And then the children will come up and do the Gettysburg Address and do it in Flanders Fields, and then we'll march back to the War Memorial at the Common. The parade goes, and then that same event happens again with the speeches and such. But the poppies are not. I mean, I guess I'm going to watch out for it when I'm out working today and see. Maybe I'm totally wrong and it's something I've been completely oblivious to. And that's really a good possibility that I just never picked up on it. I don't know. It's something that I never knew. I don't know.
In England, Wales and Northern Ireland, the poppy has 2 petals and a leaf. But in Scotland, the poppy has 4 petals and no leaf. All the poppies sold in Scotland are made in the Lady Haig's Poppy Factory in Edinburgh. The factory was founded in 1926 by Lady Haig, the wife of Field Marshal Douglas Haig, who was the commander of the British Army in France during the First World War. When the factory first opened, all the poppies were handmade by just 2 ex-servicemen with some red paper and a pair of scissors. Today, there are over 40 ex-servicemen with disabilities who work in the factory. These men make 5 million poppies every year for the Scottish Poppy Appeal.
Wow.
They also make more than 10,000 wreaths and tens of thousands of wooden remembrance symbols. These include Christian crosses, Muslim crescents, Sikh kandas, the Jewish Star of David, and a symbol for humanists.
What's a humanist? I'm lost. I don't know what a humanist is. That's a new one to me. I never heard of that. But I think it's very cool that they do the different symbols for all the different religions. That's pretty cool. I got to look up what a humanist is, but maybe that's somebody who's I don't know. I'm not even gonna guess because I don't want to offend anybody because I have no idea what it is. But I think it's really cool though that they do all the different symbols. It's pretty neat.
All the poppies are still made by hand, although a machine now cuts out the poppy shape. The ex-servicemen make 2 types of poppy. A poppy with a green plastic stem, and a stick-on poppy. When all the poppies have been made, they're packaged up with collecting tins for the money, then sent to our volunteers all over Scotland.
Wow. Look at that, huh? How cool is that? I find that to be great. So you get a box of these poppies with a collection tin, and you go out and collect money for the poppies, and then the money goes back to help the veterans. That's awesome. That we must do something like this, I'm sure. How am I so oblivious to this?
Every village, town and city in Scotland has volunteers who donate their time for free to sell poppies in their local area. Poppies are sold in lots of places. You can find them in shops, supermarkets, offices, schools, factories, churches and hospitals. Volunteers collect the money made from selling poppies. They also hold fundraising events like jumble sales, cake sales and races to raise even more money. Thanks to their hard work, our volunteers raise millions of pounds from the people of Scotland every year. All the money that's made helps ex-servicemen and women in need after serving in the Navy, Army or Air Force.
Excellent.
We also help their families, their wives, husbands, partners and children.
That partners word, that's awesome. It's so good to see, wives, husbands, partners, because everybody should be included in this. Anybody who needs the help, and that's great.
We help with house repairs, wheelchairs and specially adapted vehicles to help them live in their own homes for longer. We also give money so they can retrain, start their own businesses, or grow an existing business. And we give advice, information and support to deal with any problems that may be encountered along the way, helping them rebuild their lives. All this from a tiny poppy.
Well, folks, that's the end of it. I'm really glad I learned about the poppies. I got to see how prevalent they really are over here. I feel like a pile of crap if they are, and I'd had no idea about it because that's pretty crappy on my part. I'm going to go see if I can find me a poppy today and maybe donate a little money to our veterans. Wear my poppy proud. I hope you all do the same. Thank you so much to the men and women all over the world who have served your countries. I appreciate all of my soldiers, my friends, my family, and the servicemen and women of my country who fight for my freedom and fight to keep the world safe, as every country should be proud of their service people for that. I want to say thank you for watching. Thanks for always being here, and thank you for being part of my family. God bless. Squirrel out.